I've got my bookshelf up, but there's not any books on it yet. Also, I'm back. Hey there, and welcome to my channel. This is Foggy Fiction, and I am Haley. I'm a writer living with mental illness, and today, I'm finally back. If you follow me on my other social medias, links are down below, then you know the reason that I'm just now posting my first video of the year is because I started off 2021 with a positive COVID test. Yeah. I went into great detail about my experience over on my blog. Again, the links are down below. But it was basically an awful experience that I never, ever want to have to go through again. I got my positive test on the 4th of January, and it's only been in the past few days that I've really started to kind of feel normal again. Or mostly back to normal. I do still have some symptoms, and I was unfortunately told that I could potentially be experiencing these symptoms for months. But otherwise, I'm happy to finally have the energy and motivation to put back into my writing and my social medias again. Now, with that out of the way, let's get back to the purpose of my video today. My 2021 goals. I know I spoke about some of these in my writing goals with deadlines video that I posted last quarter, but I felt the need to modify some of those goals a little after the way the first 3 weeks of 2021 went for me. I'm not going to go into all of my goals for the year because I keep a bujo and I obsessively make lists, so we could be here all day. So I'm just going to pick my top goals from my yearly, quarterly, social media, and writing goal lists. I'm also not going to go over specifically what I have as my goals for the first quarter of 2021 because I haven't actually broken the goals down yet. More on that later. Number 1. I want to complete my second and third rounds of revisions and betas on WIP-MH. I have code names for all of my projects. I basically just abbreviate work in progress, WIP, of course, and then I have 2 letters that represent a couple of words that represent that story. WIP-MH stands for WIP Mental Health. So there's that. I had intended to start this goal at the beginning of the month. Right now, it is waiting patiently for me to start second round revisions. Technically, it would be third round revisions because I work with an alpha reader and every time I write a chapter, she reads through it. I make revisions based off of her notes and then I move on to the next chapter. So it gets a first round of revisions as I go, but that's just a weird technicality and it's easier just, for simplicity's sake to refer to this as second round revisions. So my hope this year is to do the second round revisions, send it off to betas for the second time, then do third round revisions when I get it back from betas, and I don't expect that I will do a third round of betas, but we will see. I feel like I messed that up. I hope I said that right. Second round revisions, second round betas, third round revisions, no third round betas. That's what I was trying to say. I guess I'll find out in the edits. Number 2, after all of that, I want to query WIP-MH. I don't know that it's going to happen this year because I obviously don't want to query it before I'm confident that it's ready to send out to agents, but I really hope that it is. In the video where I talked about my goals with deadlines and mentioned those first quarter goals, I said that I wanted to be agented by the time that I turn 30. That gives me until November of this year. And with having a 3-week late start and knowing how long and difficult the querying process will be, I think at this point I just want to start querying by the time I turn 30. So start querying by the time I turn 30, as opposed to already be agented. Now if I get an agent then, or before then, awesome. I mean, that'd be great, but I'm not holding my breath. I don't like to make goals that are impossible or can easily be failed. Number 3, I want to complete the first round of revisions on WIP-AR and send it out to betas. Last November, I participated in NaNoWriMo, as I usually do, and for the first time, I won. I wrote 50,003 words and completed the first draft on my second book. As I stated before, or you could probably guessed, I am an underwriter. I also discovered that I really like fast drafting. Most of the author tubers I follow would probably call this a 0 draft as it is more dialogue and action cues than anything, but I just like to call it a really crappy first draft. And I'm talking about my own draft, so that's okay. Anyway, I would like to get through the first round of revisions and send it off to betas. Number 4, I want to outline and finish the first draft on WIP-GS. I started coming up with this story idea during the time that I had told myself I was going to take a break from writing this past December, and that break was not had. The story wouldn't leave me alone, and I ended up just, going ahead and starting a brain dump on it, and I'm really, really hoping to get it outlined and written this year. It is a story that is a step away from the other two stories that I've written. I would say Whip MH and Whip AR are both contemporary fiction. Adult fiction, yeah, maybe new adult, but I mean, of course, I intend to traditionally publish, and in traditional publishing, new adult doesn't exist. So I would say they are adult fiction with crossover, ability, or however you would say that. But this one, I think, will definitely be adult fantasy or sci-fi. So depending on the direction that it takes. And I'm really excited to dive into that. So, number 5. I want to win NaNoWriMo again. Now, last year was my first year winning Nano, and I only gave myself, I think, about a week of prep time because I spent longer than planned working on revisions on Whip MH and then getting it sent out to betas. So this year, I'm hoping to give myself the full Preptober treatment and kick Nano's butt again. And I'm hoping that it will be a completely fresh story outside of any ideas that I currently have, including Whip GS. If things go the way that I like, I will be writing 2 new stories this year, including Whip GS. But, we'll see. That entirely depends on how fast I get through the revisions on MH and AR, and when I can start on GS. If I'm not able to start on GS until October, I guess that'll be my Nano project. We will see. Number 6 is actually a social media goal, and that is to reach 1,000 subscribers here on my YouTube channel. That feels like a huge goal, but I am going to push hard, and I have the whole year to do it. And just to tack on to this one, I have other social media goals across all of my platforms that involve follower counts, but this is the big one. And I've also set a goal to get into the proper habit of posting across all of these platforms, which will hopefully help. I have a tracker for this in my Bujo planner, so we'll see if that, helps me stay on it. I'm hoping so. It has so far, I think. Once I've actually started getting back into this, it feels good to check off those wins. Numbers 7 and 8 are to put together collections of short stories and poems to be published. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I'm toying with the idea of going hybrid and self-publishing these, but I'm not sold on anything yet. And yes, the poetry collection would include the poems from the writing challenge, which could potentially have me prepped for 2 collections of poems, as I already have a huge backlist of poems that I've been wanting to put together to publish for years. I know this seems like an insane amount of goals for a newbie author to complete in 1 year, especially with a late start and especially during a pandemic, where I am still lucky enough to have a day job. But you know what? These are my goals, and I'm going to try my hardest to make them happen. And if I don't, then they'll be next year's goals. Not just going to give up. With that said, I focus on my goals 1 quarter of the year at a time. I set my planner by quarters last year, and later, after watching Sarah Cannon's video about her Kanban board, I fell in love with that method of goal setting, which fit in perfectly with my planner setup. If you haven't watched her video, I highly recommend it. She recently posted her Q1 reset, and I'm planning to watch it when I finally get around to putting together my own Kanban board for Q1. I'm so behind on everything right now. While I haven't broken all of my first quarter goals down yet, I do know that I am hoping and intending to finish second round revisions on MH and send it out to betas, during which time I will start first round revisions on AR and complete that during the first quarter. Other than that, I guess I'll figure it out while I'm putting together my Kanban board. Let me know down in the comments what goals you have for the year and if you've already started working on or completing them. Also, if you're interested in getting access to my private Discord, where I offer sneak peeks on things, have a monthly Q&A, post polls where you can vote on things related to my writing and my social media channels, host giveaways, I have a general chat, and there's lots of other fun stuff, including pictures of my cat, because, of course, I'm hosting a giveaway for that. You can find more info over on my Foggy Fiction Facebook page or my website. Again, links are down below. Or you can just comment here telling me what your January, February TBR list looks like and how much of it you've already gotten through. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're interested in watching my very clumsy journey as a writer living with mental illness. Enjoy the happy moments.